This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
I love you, Lobster Johnson.
You want to see the claw, don't you? There it is. There's the claw. No, I don't have the claw. But welcome into
You're
our
not Lobster
Hellboy.
Johnson.
I am not Lobster Johnson, but welcome into our Hellboy review. Ricky Widmer here, along with Johnny Karlic from the Rick and Johnny podcast.
No, it's Josh. They get confused
Josh.
all the time.
First it was Susan, now it's Josh. Make up your mind, Mr. J. Make up your mind. But we saw Hellboy over the weekend, and we were going to talk about it and review it. How our reviews work here is we kind of stick in a non-spoiler zone to start. We kind of stew in that to get the juices flowing, and then we go on into spoiler mode, and we spoil the shit out of everything before ending the podcast with our show stealer, which is like our MVP of the movie, and then we give it a rating. This one is out of 5 what? 5 heads?
5 limbs?
5 heads of... No, 5 limbs. Good.
Yeah.
5 Blood Queen limbs is what we're going to give it out of, because Johnny's the greatest. Yeah, you're the great at coming up with things to give it 5 whatevers out of. Not the greatest, you're the great.
Not the best power to have.
But we're going to start in non-spoiler mode. Before we do, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That's where you can help support us. Make sure we can get our new studio and be rewarded for such. Discord server access. You can get mock drafts, be able to look at mock drafts a week before we do them, get exclusive podcasts a week before, calling the podcast at bronze, silver, and gold memberships. But Johnny, let's jump into it. And the first thing, which I always ask you, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was pretty good, actually. I hear a lot of negative reviews, and Rotten Tomatoes had it a 15. I'm like, okay, it didn't deserve.
It's very BVS-y if we're looking Rotten Tomatoes. It's one of those where it's got like a high teen score from the critics, low 60 score from the audience.
Yeah, but I don't think it deserved that low score from the critics, honestly.
I mean, let's be honest.
Out of 15?
Let's be honest. Some critics are very harsh graders.
Yeah, they are.
And that's why you're coming to do a review like this, because Ebert and Roper, they don't know what they're talking about half the time. They're old coots that are like reviewing movies for how old? Like Johnny and I know what you want to hear. You guys come to us because of our trusted opinion. I'll be honest, I wasn't blown away by it, but I think it had good parts and it had bad parts to it. It was, to me, I wanted more out of it than what I got. Where I was super hyped about the movie after we not even saw, like before we even saw the trailer. It was the New York Comic-Con. We got kind of like the description of what the trailer was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And you and I talked about it, and I was super hyped. It sounded really cool. The biggest part, and this was one of the best parts that it hit on, was I liked how it kind of felt like a monster movie.
Yes,
almost.
Very much did.
Where the giants, Hellboy himself. Like,
spoilers.
No, the giants are in the trailer.
They are, okay. I forgot about that.
All the creatures that you see are like they're right out of a monster movie.
Yeah.
And I was like,
no,
oh
very
my
true.
God, that is awesome. Also, I'll be completely honest, this might be a negative for some. I actually liked it. I liked Hellboy's look in this one.
Yes, no.
I thought they were trying to be more faithful to the source material.
No, he looked
Ron
a lot
Perlman
more like
one.
he was from the comics than the Ron Perlman one. No offense to the Ron Perlman one. I love those movies, but this one looked more like Hellboy from the comics.
Like we didn't see the lips.
There was no actual lips. It was more of the less. It was less humanistic of lips.
Kind of looked like stone.
They had a larger brow. He had a larger brow with the as described in the movie. And this is a slight spoiler, but not a big deal. Piss yellow eyes.
Yeah, piss yellow eyes.
My favorite color.
But I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the look. I think David Harbour was a great casting choice.
Yes, he did a great job with
Hellboy.
And not to mention, he really bulked up for the role.
Yes, he did. And both you and I said that after we saw it. Like you said during the movie and then after, I'm like, man, you're right. He really bulked up for this role. But I mean, with me, kind of my biggest negative with it is it kind of seems like, let me see, although it only has one director, it kind of seems like it had different paces at different points. And I'm going to get into that more so in spoiler mode. But like, it seemed like what we got at the beginning, I didn't want. What we got at the very end of the movie, I absolutely wanted. So like, that to me was its biggest problem, was the pacing was off in a lot of parts. Yes, David Harbour was great, but he couldn't save this movie in my mind. Like, it's not a terrible movie for me, but like, it's not a great movie in my mind. I expected more from it. And with the story of all, I'll get into this more in spoiler zone, I think they might have been better to choose a different villain than they ultimately did. But I will get into that in spoiler mode. Is there anything in non-spoiler mode you think we need to touch or that you want to touch?
Who you recommend this for?
I recommend this for, if you're a diehard Hellboy fan, go see it. If you're a mediocre Hellboy fan, go see it. That's it. Like, if you like monster movies, I guess you could go see it, but like, I don't know exactly if you're going to like the whole Hellboy side of it. For a date movie, go see something else. Like, wait for this one on I almost said VHS. Wow, dating myself. But wait for it to come out on Netflix. This is not something where, if you asked me to go again just for enjoyment, I might be like, hey, let's go see something else. It wasn't an amazing movie. It's for me, it's for the true Hellboy fans, is who's really going to enjoy this and get something out of it. How about you?
Hellboy fans, mediocre Hellboy fans, anyone who wanted to try and start getting into Hellboy, maybe go see that as well. I would say,
if you
maybe
want to get into Hellboy,
read the comics first.
Watch the 2004 version.
Read the comics.
Watch the Golden Army. Those are better than this one.
I would say anyone, monster movies, I would say, yeah, you know what, if you really want to like venture out there a little bit off your monster movie stuff, go ahead and see it as well. And date movie, I guess it depends on what your girlfriend's into.
Yeah.
Or boyfriend.
I mean, with me, I would pick something else only because, yet again, it wasn't an amazing movie to me. I'm going to be honest. You'll see in my rating, it's kind of right down the middle almost. Like, it wasn't anything blowing me away with it. Like, yes, there were, okay, not blowing me away. I should take that back, because the monster movie thing did blow me away. But it was just, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, I expected, though, more out of it, and I felt like my hype level wasn't met from the movie. But we're going to go into spoiler mode. This is where, if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and hit that pause button. Johnny and I will be waiting here, but if you haven't seen the movie, you can truck right on through. We're going to spoil some stuff before giving our show stealer and rating. And Johnny, the first thing I want to talk to you about is, I've got a question for you. And I've been pondering this part of the movie since we saw it. So, father sends him to Sons of
Osiris.
Osiris, that's the word I'm trying to say. I want to say
the Osiris Club.
I wanted to say the Osiris is what I wanted to say, which is the Osiris Club.
Yeah.
And we basically learn that they're going to try to kill Hellboy.
Yeah.
That's the long and the short of it.
No, we learned he tried to kill Hellboy because they tried to kill Hellboy during
Exactly.
We didn't learn. We learned they were going to try to.
Well, we learned.
We didn't like get this little inkling that they're going to try and kill him.
I thought that something was up. I did, because I thought it was a little confusing when he's like, well, we can handle one, maybe two giants, but 3 giants is too much. It's like, well, can't you just use the same strategy that you use for 2 giants, but just bring more people?
Maybe they don't have more people to bring.
I thought that was weird. And then when he said it, like, oh, you think we need you? I was like, ha! I knew that you were up to something. I didn't know that this was exactly it. I didn't think they were trying to kill Hellboy, but I did think that something was up when I'm like, if he said, oh, we can handle 1 giant, but multiple giants, then I'd be like, okay, that's believable.
That's why I did let it go, too, because it's like 1 giant, maybe 2 giants, but 3 is just...
Yeah, there was a part of me that was like, why could you handle 2 giants and not 3 giants? But
Because
that's
3 giants is more than 2?
That's besides the point. That's not what I want to get harped on. My question to you, maybe I'm remembering this wrong. When he was at the Osiris Club, his dad called and he hit decline, right?
Yeah.
And he broke the phone hitting decline.
On accident, but yeah.
Here's the question for you.
Yeah.
Did Father learn about the kill job and that's why he was calling him? Because my biggest question is, why would you send your son, who everyone wants to kill, into a situation like that on his own?
Because he didn't know they wanted to kill him.
See, and that's where I started to think, did he know? Did he secretly know that they were going to try to kill him?
I don't think he did. I don't think he would have.
Or did he find out about it because that's why he was calling Hellboy?
I think he was just calling because he likes to check in on Hellboy. That's what it seemed like throughout the movie. Because it's like, as soon as you get Ruiz, call me back. Dad, I'm not calling you back. As soon as you get Ruiz, just check in with me when you're done. He was arguing with him like any parent.
So what, he was supposed to maybe call when he got to the Osiris Club?
Maybe just to make sure you got there and you're like... That's what it came off as.
Okay. See, with
or
me,
like, check in and let me know what the situation's going to be. Because it's also like, you're an agent, but I'm your superior. I want to know what's going on there.
Because I had also thought, I'm like, oh, shoot, did his dad find out, like, oh my God, they're going to try to kill you. I got to contact him and tell him. And by him hitting decline, he got stabbed in the back by the Osiris Club. That was just one thing I wanted to start with that part kind of.
Yeah, no, I think it was.
As I thought about it after the movie.
I think it was him just like, I think it was more that was setting up to, since he found out, oh, Dad was supposed to initially kill me when we got there. He didn't. I'm kind of upset with this whole thing that I wasn't told about. Click, I'm not going to talk to you.
All right. Second thing I want to bring up.
Okay.
The pacing. For me, I tried to describe this to you while we were at the movie, and it seemed like we were a little bit of a disconnect here.
Yeah.
Meaning you didn't understand what was coming out of my mouth because I wasn't explaining it like I wanted to. Let's hope this is better. So with me, pacing was a big thing in this movie, especially early on in the movie. 2 reasons why. Number 1. When they did that whole backstory on King Arthur, not that the material was bad, but I felt like the pacing of how the narrator was talking was like I was watching a YouTube video where YouTubers talk quicker because they want to get the video done shorter because of attention span. Like, I was like, why is he talking too fast? Like, dude, take a chill pill. Slow down a bit. You don't have to rush through these lines. And then number 2, early on, I felt like it was very, here's a Hellboy scene, to where I was like, oh, cool, this is a Hellboy scene. It's like, it's paced nicely. Then they would cut to a scene away from Hellboy, and it felt like, okay, let's get through this scene as quick as possible so that we can get back to Hellboy.
Be more specific. What do you mean?
Like for example, when it was a scene with Hellboy right after he had killed Ruiz and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the scene of the lady without the eye talking to the guy. I felt like the scene without Hellboy was rushed. Like, it was rushed to get back to Hellboy.
I mean, it could be that. It could be just the fact that it's like, you know what, these scenes aren't that important to make them super long. So, I mean, we're just going to kind of get to the point of them and get off. Because the King Arthur one, I actually didn't mind the pacing of that. It was just setting up who the Blood Queen was so we didn't have to, like, sit through a whole, because it's the same, people get, it's almost, I don't want to say it's the same, but it's like kind of along the lines of how people got pissy about the beginning of Thor the Dark World. Oh my God, why'd you have to get this whole freaking storyline of what? Well, because would you understand who the fuck the dark elves were?
Refresh people who might have blocked that from their memory, because Thor the Dark World is not a good Marvel movie.
According to certain people.
A lot of people, but go ahead.
So Thor the Dark World, the beginning was the whole storyline of who the kind of the dark elves were, setting up that, and like the mythos of, oh, they're all supposedly dead, and like there used to be a war between them, how he almost used the ether, and how the ether was hidden. And people were like, I didn't want, like, use, like, there were complaints of, oh my God, the storyline was so freaking long that like you set up the dark elves. Like, okay, but you wouldn't have known who the fuck they were.
Yeah.
So it's like it's one of those things you need it in there, but like they got to the point of like, hey, this is all the information you need to know about it. It didn't need to be that long, so we made it to long enough to where what it needed to be, and that was it.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those things where early on I was just like, oh, it took me a little bit to get kind of settled into the movie because of that. The other thing I want to ask you is, do you think they made the right decision by having the Blood Queen be the main antagonist, the main villain?
I'm fine with it.
Not that are you fine with it?
No,
do you think it was the right choice?
I mean, I'm not 100% keen on what other villains you would have necessarily, because I mean, do you really want to overplay Rasputin again? For now,
I mean, he was in it.
He was in it, yeah. He was in the beginning, and supposedly, I mean, there's
at the end.
We're not
Spoilers.
guaranteed. But I think it is too. No, I mean,
after she said "You finally die," I'm like, okay, that's Rasputin.
I'm pretty sure it's Rasputin too. I'm just saying, I'm not giving it the 100%. I'm like at 99, 98%. That's Rasputin. But it's like, okay, so we're not like overboarding this character. I think it was a good way to start setting up Hellboy and like a BPRD team, and not to mention like it kind of made stakes spread out throughout the movie as opposed to just, hey, one final boss fight at the end, and that's it. Because he fought her once or twice throughout it as well, where he kind of got his ass handed to him because like, hey, you're not powerful enough.
Yeah,
you're not. There's finally someone you're not strong enough to beat. And then same with the Blood Queen giving the Changeling, technically is what it was, but the Boar, as you and I keep referring him to,
I'm gonna say
extra powers.
I'm going to say his name wrong because I have the comic book version in front of me.
Yeah.
Guragash?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. He's the boar from Guragash of Loch Lane. Is a fairy creature. So
yeah, I mean, they're connected to the fairies. So yeah.
Which Hellboy said he had a past with him already because he was the little baby. And his whole thing was like, I could have had a life.
I could have.
And you stole that from me. But I mean, with me, it's
Guragash is the name of it in the movie, too. I looked it up on the IMDb.
It's just,
the IMDb.
With me and Mark and I, spoiler alert, Mark and I talk about this a little bit because we recorded our graphic conversation where we read a Hellboy comic.
Yeah.
The thing for me is the thing that makes Hellboy so special is that he's linked in with the World War II era of things. And I felt like in this movie they didn't want to link that. They didn't do that link. They did more of a link to him in Britain. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I mean, I guess they did more of the link to actual World War II. They kind of made it more about Britain in this storyline because I mean that's just the storyline they went with. He still had that link to World War II. They gave you his origin, like, hey, he was born of Nazi experimentation. But
I mean, for me, and I'm thinking right here is, so the thing I would change with it is not necessarily put it in the past. Because I mean, you're not going to put it in World War II. But have that scene. You got to have that scene with the origin.
Which they did.
It was like, and that's where we had Lobster Johnson.
Yeah.
In there. But I'd make that more of the emphasis rather than the Britain side of things.
But why?
Because for me, if you're telling this story, and really that's almost another thing of it kind of got lost in itself. Of, if this is going to be a reboot from the Ron Perlman Hellboys, then make it a reboot and go full in on it. Like, don't be like, well, we did this back then. Like, we already done Rasputin, so we can't do it again here. No, if it's going to be a full reboot and you feel like, hey, we got a story that we can tell, go ahead and do it. Like, of course, you don't want it to be the same as the Ron Perlman ones, but I feel like with the Blood Queen, she was more of like a narrative piece than an actual baddie that they were going to go up against.
Yeah, I think it was.
She was a set piece, if anything.
It was a good villain to start up their storyline because now they don't have to worry about continuing with her. At least for now, they can always bring her back if they want to. Because I mean, and that's the thing. Hellboy isn't his only villain. Isn't just Rasputin. His only tie isn't to just World War II. That's just his origin. So this is like modern day Hellboy, because Hellboy usually takes place more so. Well, in any part of the timeline, really, I would say that he's been in his from like what, probably looking 20s to looking 40 would be the case because he ages slower than us at snail's pace compared to humans. So I mean, you can do it. If you do it in any part of the timeline, anywhere. It's just I wouldn't like focus it all on World War II. It's just that's where his origins start up.
All right,
and I think they were trying to like the sound from what it seems like they're trying to save Rasputin for this next one.
Yes, and that to me is here's the ultimate thing that I think is going to happen. Is I think if there is a second one, because we got to say if, because obviously if it doesn't make enough money, then obviously they're not going to make a second Hellboy.
Yeah.
But I wonder, let's say they do make a second one and they make a sequel. Part of me feels like that people are going to go with it and say, hey, you know what? They should have just made this the first one. Like, I wonder if that's what it's going to be like, where with a villain like Rasputin, with it already, and I mean, a part of it was the whole origin thing too, because when you're going to reboot, they had to tell the origin of Hellboy. They can't leave that out.
No, you can't.
And I feel like we're going to get a second one, and when the second one happens, it's going to be, hey, we see it, and holy crap, that should have been the first movie, not the other one that we got. Because the thing I was also thinking is all the way at the very end, before they found Abe Sapien, when they were busting that, I don't even remember what they were, doctors doing experiments. Is that what they were?
They were the Atlantis.
That's right.
Group.
Basically what I was kind of thinking was, why didn't I get that through the whole movie with like, it wasn't, I'm trying to think, it wasn't a Ramones song, was it? Like they had the rock, had the rock music playing. It's like sliding and bam, boom, doo, 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 and it's like fast paced. I'm like, why did we automatically get this at the end? That was awesome. Why didn't I get that throughout most of the movie? Like it felt like, to me overall, it felt like this movie was pulled in three different directions. A fast paced beginning because, oh my God, we just want to get going. Then it kind of mellowed out into what it wanted to be. And then at the end, it was like, hey, this is what it could have been. That's what I think of it.
See, I'm not going to really... I was fine with the pacing overall in the movie because they were trying... Like, the scenes they were trying to, like... the bad way of putting it is trying to get through because that sounds like, oh, these are not... We were trying to rush through them. They was just like, okay, this is only how long it actually needs to be for these certain scenes. Yeah. Whereas like, it didn't need to be all the what you're describing at the very end, where it's all the gunshots and the quick paced fighting ones, because that's again we're kind of rebooting, so we're starting an origin. We don't need to have this is just the complete fight scene. They had I think they had a nice beginning with Hellboy going into a whole BPRD and a decent fight scene with someone. With a vampire. When he fought
Ruiz?
When he fought Ruiz as a vampire. It was a nice setup into...
Vampire or Man-Bat? Because he looked like Man-Bat to me,
I mean,
Johnny.
Honestly, vampire is a very loose term when it comes to...
I'm just being an asshole.
Oh, I know you are. Vampire is a very loose term when it comes to... what am I thinking of?
I was like, damn, I didn't know...
Pop culture.
I didn't know that Man-Bat was going to be in this one.
But anyways...
Gotta love me some Man-Bat.
No crossovers. Bad, Ricky.
Yeah.
Bad.
No crossovers. Anything from the story that you think we should hit?
I was going to finish my...
oh, go ahead.
So, like, that wasn't a bad pacing because they got...
My mistake.
Damn right it was. Because it gave you, like, the fight in the beginning, but, like, not like the... descriptive of like at the end where it's like, oh, we gotta take out a bunch of guys. It's just hey, one-on-one fight with a monster, showing that he fights monsters, and then flipping over to he still has a sentimental side when he's being collected, and then getting into the side like they were going through who Hellboy was, because like if you for some reason saw this one but never saw the other Hellboys, you had to kind of set up who Hellboy was, sort of who Broom was to Hellboy, sort of who these other people were to Hellboy, and what Hellboy is all about, what what the BPRD is.
For me, what I think with this one is just the fact of was it absolutely terrible? No. But like I'm looking here at IMDb user reviews. And this headline, just the headline of this review, is totally what I'm thinking after seeing this. Could have been better. It could have been better. There are spots where, and like there are some here that are like a fun movie, unfair ratings, give it a chance. But for me, in the end, it's just this is one where I look at and I go, it could have been so much better. And I feel like it missed out on some points to where I'm like, maybe it's because after seeing the trailer, I had an idea of what it was going to be like in my head.
Maybe.
And the hype that I created from the trailers is the reason why I didn't love it exactly like I wanted to. And now I'm gonna have to hit the camera.
Yeah,
so
I know.
you go on and just.
I'm just trying to think of like I'm not sure what to say to that, because I enjoyed the movie. Not that like I liked it, like a lot of the things they added to it that they didn't spoil in the trailers. They gave you some main scenes, and it wasn't
missing link. Everything in the trailer was
exactly
not,
like
in the movie.
I enjoyed like the scenes with Baba Yaga and all the other stuff like they threw in there that was like unexpected. Like we didn't get the full like honestly the betrayal of the Osiris Claw. We didn't get and those were all ones that like I like them with pacing of the movie. I like how the movie was. Was it like a top rated superhero movie? No. But
do you think it gets a sequel?
I was trying to look up the box office ratings, and that's what it all comes down to, is how many people went and saw it opening weekend and how much it made. Or basically, I should say, how well it came across opening weekend and how much it made. And I couldn't find how much it made because it keeps getting confused with the other Hellboy movies for some reason. So I've been trying to find that.
41 minutes ago, there's a Screen Rant article. Hellboy reboot bombs at box office following scathing reviews. Let's see if they've got an exact total here. Here we go. The R-rated reboot is the third film in the adapt graphic novels after 2 outings, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, Variety reports that Marshall's reboot isn't faring well at the box office, opening at number 3 to only $12 million. A disastrous take when one considers the film's budget of $50 million.
Oh, geez. So probably not.
Yeah, you're losing over half. That's not even, what, a quarter?
Not even.
Yeah, not even. You're like
50, you're just around a quarter. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
it's probably not going to make another movie then.
Let's see. Right now, looking at the Variety article, what's at number 1 and number 2 right now? Damn. So, okay. This week alone, Shazam added another 25 million in box office tickets this weekend. It is sophomore outing, so it's been out for 2 weeks now, bringing its North American haul at $94 million.
Damn.
For Shazam in 2 weeks. That sum was easily enough to top a crop of newcomers, including Universal's comedy Little and Lionsgate's remake of Hellboy and the stop-motion animation Missing Link. Does it say how many each of those made, though? Yeah, Hellboy was 12 million. Does it say what the other two made? Let's see. So Little made 15 million. So Hellboy was $3 million away from being the second film this weekend, and then Missing Link is below those two.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Missing Link to be top of the box office this week. But yeah, you're making what, 12 million? I don't really know. It's going to be getting a sequel, which is sad for Ron Perlman.
David Harbour.
For David Harbour, because he was not the problem with this
No,
film.
it wasn't. What I can hope then is maybe Netflix will, if they have a contract, do my idea and pick up a Hellboy series since they don't have. They'll be losing a lot of Marvel shit.
Let me see. Is David Harbour lined up for any projects? Is what I'm trying to say. If I can say
Season 3 of Stranger Things, unless that's already in post production.
I just saw an article that said, "What if Hellboy landed in the MCU?" I don't know why he'd land in the MCU.
I don't get that either.
That's weird. Like, they're not even the same companies. Let's see. David Harbour, yada, yada, yada. Damn, he was in Suicide Squad?
Was he?
Mm-hmm. He was Dexter Tulliver in Suicide Squad.
Didn't even remember that.
Yeah, the only things he has is Dahaka and Black Widow. And both
I forgot he's going to be in Black Widow.
Black Widow is in pre-production, and then Dahaka's in post-production.
Doesn't say anything about Stranger Things 3?
Stranger Things 3 has not been confirmed yet. I don't think.
No, I thought they were going to.
I know season 2 is coming out.
That's right.
Unless he dies in season 2, we don't know.
Wait,
or season 3.
Season 3.
Season 3 is coming out this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say season 3.
Yeah.
We had a trailer for it.
No, that's just Stranger Things.
That's what I'm saying. Stranger Things. I mean, that still would be something he's working on.
Yeah, he's in those chapters as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna get 8 episodes of Stranger Things this season. But any final thoughts on anything before we go on into Show Stealer and Review?
No, I mean, we can go on into those.
Who's your Show Stealer? Why?
Wow, that was abrupt.
Very abrupt and to the point. Who's your show? Mine, I'll give mine first.
Yeah, go ahead.
David Harbour. He stole the show. He was the main part of this. He did a really good Hellboy in my mind. I didn't really see the need to give it to anybody else. And out of what this movie was, he was the shining part of it in my mind.
That, I mean, completely agree with it being David Harbour. I mean, I can't make any arguments against that.
What about your rating? Out of 5 Blood Queen pieces, how many of them are we putting together today?
I'm only going to put 3.5 of those together.
Damn, 3.5. Why 3.5?
I really like the
that's
movie.
A little high.
I also like those monster movies. That's where one of our friends was griping about. I liked it. I thought the pacing was fine.
And you've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice. So that's why it kind of grew on me. I was thinking just 3 at first. I'm like, no, you know what? This movie deserves more credit than it got. And I think what part of it is a lot of people probably didn't go see it because of the shitty IMDb. I don't know, there was shitty Rotten Tomato. Because I thought it was a lot better than people it was being given credit for.
And that's the thing I know you and I have gotten into is like, it sounds almost a little hypocritical to say, oh, those shitty reviews. As we are reviewing
doing reviews.
But it's like the thing I think I hope we're evolving into, especially on YouTube, I know we are, is you find your reviewer. Like for you guys who are watching us, you come to us because you know us and you trust our opinion. That's the big thing. With a Rotten Tomato score, there's so many scores together that it's like, but do I trust the people? Yeah. Whereas like a review like this, you come to, like if you're coming to us every single time, it's because you're trusting, like, oh, I know what type of reviewer Johnny is. I know what type of personality Ricky is. So it's like, hey, Ricky didn't like this movie. Well, this is why, because Ricky usually doesn't like these types. Or if this happens, Ricky usually isn't a fan of that. Or like, oh,
And that's why
Johnny just likes everything. That's a joke.
I get it because my rate's always higher than you.
Johnny,
I think we had one movie where mine was lower than yours.
Of this year?
Just in general, I think.
Let's see. So far this year, yours have either been the same, if not higher.
I'm saying in general, I think I only had like one, maybe two that were lower than yours.
Let's see. In 2018, one. Death Wish. I gave it a 5. You gave it a 4.5. And then in 2017, let's see. Did you give any of them lower than me in 2017? There were 2. Beauty and the Beast, you gave it a 4.5. I gave it a 5. And then American Made, I gave it a 5. You gave it a 4.5. So
3 total out of all the movies we've seen.
That's another thing too, like that I've noticed, like since we've started doing this. So like 2017, I gave a total of 8 5s. You gave a total of 6 5s. In 2018, I gave a total of, and yes, we only did 12 movies. I gave a total of 4 5s. You gave a total of 4 5s. And then if we do 2019, so far I have only given out of 10 movies a single 5, and you have only given a single 5. So that's another thing. I feel like when we started this whole process, it was like, everything's great. I love movies. And now that we're like talking about them and reviewing them, it's more of like a, okay, in order to get that 5, you got to be really, really good. Like this year, both of us gave the same movie our only 5. Shazam.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. It's made $94 million in 2 weeks. And it topped the box office in its second week.
Yeah. And this is my thing about reviews. I hope you do watch ours and think, like, if you really want to, take into account. Don't take what we have to say as the holy grail of what the movie should be.
Unless the words "do not see it" come out of my mouth, still go and see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless I say, "Don't see it," I am saving you. Like,
don't waste
Mummy.
your time.
Like
that's
the Mummy. Don't like, and that's the big thing. It's not really money for me. It's like like I said to you.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money.
Our time is valuable. There are so many things that we can do with it that I wouldn't want you to go waste your time on this. And like, if I know for sure that it's a waste of time, I'm gonna tell you. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a, hey, this is what I thought. Take it as what you wish. If you come and watch, and I hope you do watch all of our reviews and our podcasts, you get to know our personalities and you know where we're coming from.
You know where we stand on what type of movie we like. You find out more about that. It's just, then this is, like I said, I was going to go with my take on.
I'm not a horror movie guy. I still thought Pet Sematary was good.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Everyone's got a different taste in what kind of movie they like, and that they'll start latching on to different reviewers. Yeah. But don't take any reviewers' word as the holy grail of should I go or not see it. Yeah. If you think the movie looked good in the first place, go see it. Then you'll find it's an experience instead of watching the same movie for the 20th time in a row.
Should I call them out?
No.
Should I call him out?
No, I'm just saying. This is anyone.
Okay.
To me, this is it, because this is my...
He knows who he is.
No, this is me on anything. Like, I've stated, ever since we started, I hate the reviews. Yeah. Like, I hate...
You almost said, I hate trailers.
I hate trailers. Fuck trailers.
As we talked about the Star Wars trailer.
No.
Check it out on our Rick and Johnny podcast.
Yeah. No, I have never listened to movie reviews because I want to find out for myself.
You want to have your own opinion.
I want my own experience. That's why I don't listen to reviews. I don't read spoilers.
And that's where we're different. There are some people out there that are like, well, I'm not reviewing. I want to know if it's good. Like Colin Cowherd, guy I watch for sports. Yeah. I believe his rule is unless it's an 80 or above on Rotten Tomatoes, he will not waste his time and go see it. Because he will only see the best movies.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a ridiculously high, like 80.
That's a really ridiculously high expectation.
Where it's like, or it might be a 75. I think it's an 80. Where it's like, here's my line in the sand. Anything below this. So Paddington 2. He really liked.
He apparently went and saw Paddington
because that's
2.
100 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics.
Again, another reason why I don't listen to critics and stuff like that. Ratings.
Any final thoughts on this? We had a little tangent here at the end.
We did a little tangent, but I liked our tangent. I had to get that off my chest.
Might take this and put it on our social media pages so that
please
more
do.
People see it, so it's not just tagged at the end of Hellboy.
No, please do.
Any final thoughts though with this?
No, again, I think it was. I would actually, when it comes out, I think I actually might buy this movie.
Okay.
It's partially because I like
wouldn't
Hellboy.
buy it, but that's
you
okay.
wouldn't, but I like Hellboy. I like their take on Hellboy, and I love how they actually made him look more comic-like, like from the comics, not like joking.
Well, and our next review, I didn't do this for Missing Link. I'll do this. I'll probably put Hellboy up second,
so that they can see this.
They can see this part. But I will say the next movie we are going to see, Johnny.
The big one of the year.
It's it. Well, here's the thing. We might have a movie review next week, but it's Justice League and the Fatal Four. We may do it, but that's not like a real movie. Review. That's just us chilling, watching Justice League, and then talking about that movie on the DC universe. So we may do that one, but our next, for sure, silver screen movie, Avengers Endgame. We are seeing it on the Friday, and that Friday after we see it, we are recording it. So you can expect that review to come out. I want to say it's the 27th. So that's Saturday right away, 10 a.m. when our first video comes out. Boom, Avengers Endgame review. And then after that, in May, we've got Ugly Dolls, Detective Pikachu, John Wick, Aladdin, Brightburn, Godzilla, and Rocketman. We got a good May coming up. Let us know what other movies you would like us to see, what movies you would like to see us review. If we can fit them in, I would love to see the movies you guys want us to see. So go ahead and leave some of those down below in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for checking out our review of Hellboy. Make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluedpodcast to support us. Make sure to rate us a 5 stars on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It really helps us get into the ears of more and more people. But really, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.